our speakers, all our participants, for having this extremely interesting overview of various aspects of climate change and environmental protection in the mountain areas. And I would like to pass the floor to our distinguished chair of the session. Is he?
Yeah, okay, thank you. I'm here.
The floor is yours. But yeah.
Okay, thank you, our co-chair. Thank you very much, Dr. Lesya, Professor Lesya. Okay, I think we have finished almost on time. So I'd like to now summarize. Well, it is very difficult to summarize because many of the presentations were so, profound, very well elaborated, and maybe it's already clear to many of our participants. And some of the some of the summary has been already provided by our co-chair immediately after the presenters. But I'd like to try to also hear whatever I could do in the overall context from my understanding of this participation of this very important session on climate change impact on mountain ecosystems, ecosystem communities and livelihood. So the first presentation was from Professor Maria Mihaela Antope, okay, from Romania, associate professor. She presented on red listing of crop varieties as a tool to respond to climate change and food security. I think this was very interesting and very profound presentations, which...
Sir, it was shared lecture with the Professor Camelia. She is the Dean of the faculty.
Okay, so a shared lecture, okay, she presented, but okay, thank you very much, Dr. Hassan. Okay, you already highlighted, okay, so Professor, what do you say, Professor, but presentation was made by Professor Maria Mihaela, yeah? And so, but well, as you mentioned, shared presentation by with Professor Camelia Shara. Okay, thank you. And the topic I already mentioned, and well, it was very useful, I think, in terms of advocating in agricultural crops, also to use as a red listing, to for as a climate change adaptation tool. In many of the forestry species we have, like IUCN red list, there is a list of red listing of the species, endangered species, so that it gives a lot of insight for policymakers and student planners to conserve and promote. But in agricultural crop space, agrobiodiversity, there is no such thing as such. So I think she highlighted very much on the red listing and using some of for literature from many countries she provided, and focusing on farm conservations and using forceful analysis to identify which are red endangered, which are red listed, which are under red listing. So this is very useful, and she also finally suggesting that red listings should be a strategic instrument for conservation and use of plant genetic resource for food and agriculture. I mean, that's for agrobiodiversity, and also connecting to global framework for international treaties and Convention of Biological Diversity. And it's very useful. I think that was very knowledgeable. And so the next presentation was from Dr. Mihaela State. She also, I think it was shared presentation from Romania, and her presentation was focused on relationship between climate change, hydropower plants, and impact on mountain ecosystems. Definitely, she focused on hydropower is more, beneficial in terms of reducing greenhouse gases and reducing negative impact of climate change as compared to alternative like thermal power. But however, she also mentioned that, okay, hydropower has also some problem, between large, she provided illustrations from both large hydropower and small micro hydropower, And a large hydropower has some impact, negative impact on land degradations and landslide and soil erosion, and small hydropower having impact on loss of species and so on. And she suggested that I think that there is a need of also to use strategic, interventions to reduce and minimize the impact of, damage from hydropower, so that we can use as a very good, climate smart energy source as compared to alternative thermal power. I think that was what message she provided. I think that was very useful. And the third presentation was from Professor Said Hafizur Rahman, who presented on the topic climate change impact on mountain livelihoods. I think he had a very good presentation providing framework for livelihood analysis, especially focusing on sustainable livelihood framework. I think that is from DFID 2001, I think, which provides the very good framework for analyzing the livelihood of the mountain communities and also assess the impact of the climate change. And he also provided some of the framework and livelihood suitability index using some economic framework. I think that is useful to analyze for people who want to study for livelihood analysis. So he also provided some constraint for livelihood and very good insight on the assets. In livelihood analysis, we need to have there is called Pentagon, 5 assets. It's not only physical assets, but we have social assets, financial assets, and natural assets, so on. I think that gives good information for analysis. The fourth presentation from our expert panel was on impact of climate change on mountain biodiversity and wildlife from Professor Dr. Sirajul Islam from Bangladesh. Professor Islam also provided very good information, broader context of the overall mountain biodiversity and wildlife conservation and their consequences of climate change on biodiversity, wildlife, and livelihood. And he provided overall information, very good elaborate information for the participants to learn and understand the overall information. And this was there were 4 presentations from faculty expert panels. Now I'll go to briefly summarize from the case study presentation. Well, there were 4 case study presentations, though in our schedule there were 5. One last presenter were missing from Romania. The first, I'll just go for first case study presentation was made from the Bangladesh, Ms. Fahimida Yasmin, on the topics farmers' perception on awareness of climate change, and doing some based on her research, real field study survey. And there was very good, graphical information. Data was put very analytical in the analyzing the different level of awareness of the communities on the climate change. And she presented that, the farmers who have a longer years of, engagement in farming, people who have longer years of engagement in farming are more conscious about climate change as compared to others. I think that is interesting and expected results. And also education has important information, awareness level on climate change. She also presented like that. And also she also provided some of the impact of climate change in agriculture and others, declining water sources, and which was very useful as a real field case study, providing real empirical evidence from the field, ground level, from developing country context, from Bangladesh. I think this is very useful, I think, for participant. And she's also suggested, I think, location in specific intervention is essential for climate change impact interventions. I think that is very useful suggestions from her. Now I'll go for next case study that was presented by Ms. Pamela Bhattacharya from India. I think that was very useful on the topics experimental warming impact on soil and bacterial communities, and very good experiment done in the Himalayas, from Indian Himalayas, and very useful, very good, well-designed experiments in using warming of the bacteria, putting in the chamber, open chamber, warming treatment in the open chamber, and observing whether the warming has really impacted on the response, bacterial response to climate change. I think she had a very good analysis, doing a lot of analysis on the diversity in terms of alpha diversities, like richness and evenness, using Shannon and evenness analysis, doing some component composition analysis, and also using of the functional trait, whether that warming has impact on the functional trait of the bacteria, mycobacteria. And unexpectedly, what we found, our results shows that climate warming doesn't have any impact on the diversity, composition, and functional traits, and temperature increase has no impact. I think this is, well, what we think that this is not expected for us, but this may be very good results. What I feel that maybe this may be for replications and validation may be needed. Whether if this is a real finding, then this is very good news, because warming may not have much impact on the composition and diversity of soil bacteria. That will be very useful for us if this is a real results from other validations from other countries similar in the mountain communities we could get. Thank you, Pamela, for very good results. And now third case study was presented by Dr. Ajay Kumar about natural hazards and disaster management in Himachal Pradesh. Unfortunately, we could not see the slides, but I'm trying to capture what he presented. I think he presented very well about the loss of damage caused by the disaster, from different natural disasters like cloudburst, landslides, soil erosion, and he also provided information about economic losses, in terms of number of people lost their lives, and also livestock, cattle, and also damages, infrastructural damages, and so on. That was very good, useful information in terms of quantifying the from the field. I think that was very useful, and he also provided insight information about that India is the first country to develop disaster, to formulate Disaster Management Act. I think that is good information for us also, I think, for minimizing impact of disaster. And also he provided mitigation measures of disaster in terms of short-term measures and long-term measures, and providing very good suggestions for coping and adapting with those disaster by in the short term by restructuring disaster management, promoting insurance systems, district emergency committees, early warning system like that. And in the long term, what is suggested, education, providing education system for integrating disaster management into education system, and also mainstreaming disaster management framework in the national development program, and including Disaster Act. I think this was very useful and provide a lot of insight for other countries as well. Now I'll go for the summary fourth case study presentation by Dr. Lulian Alexandru, Dr. Bratu, assistant professor is from Romania. He presented about climate change in Carpathian forest, and naturalog in Syuyva area, and he provided very good, academic and meteorological insight about analyzing this climate change impact using GIS, GIS, and using some of the provided some of the photographs and the different temporal dimension changes in the forest cover and between different years using this NDVI, that normalized differences vegetation index, and other measures. And I think this was very useful also for all of us. Using that methodology and that empirical information can be also used for similar in other countries to analyze the climate change impact for forest sector. And also, I think this GIS and other what is suggested also bioaccuracy for a multi-sectoral camera drones is useful. What is suggested based on his experience of working in Romania and in this research, I think that was very useful for all of us. And I think this is all I think what I could summarize. And from this today's climate change impact, this session 2.2 on mountain communities and livelihood, I think based on my understanding, I try to capture whatever from the presenters could make in this short time of presentations. There may be, I think, more elaborate information which I might have missed. Maybe you can, many of our distinguished participants could learn through their PPT they could get, and also from many of the literature references they have provided in today's presentation. I think thank you very much all our distinguished participants, experts, our co-chairs who very nicely facilitated these sessions within the given time. And this was I feel that this was very useful and fruitful and very much useful to all of us. Thank you very much. I think if our co-chair would like to add something, I request. Otherwise, thank you very much.
Oh no, thank you for the nice conclusion, and thank you all. I would like to thank all the participants.
Okay, then thank you all. So for next session tomorrow, I think today's session we finished on time, it seems. Very good. Well done.
Thank you. Thank you, Honorable Chair. Thank you, and Co-Chair Madam. It was nicely, wonderfully done. Superb. So we close the session, and now we will wait for half an hour for the next session to start. So in the meantime, for this half an hour, we will keep this forum open. So everybody will be unmute and people can chat and talk to each other. No problem. Thank you.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you. Thank you so much.